Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at SpunkyOldBroad1 or reach out to me on our website at spunkyoldbroad.com. And now, back to the show. My guest today is Dr. Cynthia Bailey, who's a sought-after dermatologist with 25 plus years of experience. She founded the Advanced Skincare and Dermatology Physicians Incorporated. And as a breast cancer survivor, she provides valuable information and a host of holistic skincare products via her website, which is drbaileyskincare.com. She's a Tulane University Medical School graduate, a member of the American Academy of Dermatology, and the California Medical Sonoma County Medical Associations, and an American Academy of Dermatology diplomat. She has been on the clinical teaching faculty at the UC San Diego Medical School and a president, board of trustee, and committee member on numerous California Sonoma County healthcare organizations. Her ultimate goal is to help people be happy and healthy and fall in love with their skin every single day. Well, welcome, Dr. Bailey, to the show. We are glad to have you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I love the introduction. I put a smile on my face. Thank you so much, Gayle.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, I'm a three-time breast cancer survivor. I've had 16 surgeries. And, and my, I know.
You beat me.
Yeah.
That's something we don't want to beat each other at.
I always say my chest looks like a road map, but I'm here. And it's interesting because a lot of the scar tissue and a lot of the, you know, what I had done to me has prevented me from doing a lot of other things. But in the meantime, I say I'm here, I'm happy, I'm healthy, and that's all that counts. So
yeah. I agree.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And, you know, you have a lot of background, and you started this website on skincare. Why, when you had such a busy full-time dermatology practice, did you do this?
Well, it's, you know, with so many things in my life, it's because I could and because I saw a need. There was an opportunity, there was a need, and I'm a do-it-yourself gal, and I love teaching, I love empowering people, and I love tending, neatening, and nurturing, and I've channeled that through dermatology and skin health in my professional career, and I saw a void, an opportunity, and a need in the early days of the internet, when the internet was sort of like a Wild West, and you could just do it yourself. And so I did it myself after practicing here in Sonoma County for 25 years. I've been a derm for actually 30 years, which is a little bit shocking and lets you know that I'm a little bit older. And I'd done so much in my career here, and things had finally sort of settled down. I'd taken a lot of really big projects, like starting my practice and getting involved in organized medicine, being a mentor in the Women in Medicine program here in our local community, and doing all sorts of things here that had gotten me, you know, I was comfortable with the press, I was comfortable with notoriety, I was comfortable with being sort of visible to the community, and I also had finished a lot of big projects here, and I sort of sat for about 5 years just practicing medicine, and then I saw this opportunity with the internet to scale my ability to give advice and help people and sort of give people that same aha moment that I give my patients when I teach them something specific and scientific that's relevant to their skincare problems. And I had this hallucination that if I did this, I would get aha moments all over the country, all over the world, and I just launched into it.
Wow. You know, I have to say, doing your own website is not an easy thing. Even though they've made it easier, it's not something I would ever attempt, I can tell you that. But you also became the longest-running dermatologist skin health blogger on the web. So when did you start all of this?
I started writing the site in 2008, but I launched it in '09. So everything on this website, which is actually a giant and huge website, is sort of a download collection of what's in my brain with regard to dermatology and skin health. So at drbaileyskincare.com, you're kind of having a mind meld with me and how I filter the medical literature and turn that into relevant, actionable advice for people if they have rosacea, facial redness from seborrhea and rosacea. Maybe you don't know you've got both of those things. Acne that's maybe pityrisporum folliculitis, or acne that won't go away because it's super infected with other things. Dry skin, skin aging, wrinkles, age spots. Are they sun freckles? Are they barnacles? Are they worrisome for skin cancer? I mean, it goes on and on. If you think about all the different questions you have about your skin and you start searching them on the internet, what you used to get was a bunch of sort of advertisements or sort of charlatan-y stuff. And there was this huge need for credible, medical, grounded information, and nobody was doing it yet. You didn't have Mayo really, being accessibly, ranking high for search. I mean, nobody was really doing it, and so I started writing in '08. We launched in '09, and I was on page infinity and beyond, of course, because me and my little local web designer had an HTML site that was all custom made in grids and very difficult to navigate, but I did it on a shoestring, basically, like most of my DIY projects. And then I hired an SEO consultant who said, well, in addition to I need to go through these pages and do all this technical stuff to them, you need to start blogging for keywords, and I don't really have the best spelling and grammatical skills, so that was very intimidating for me. I did it. I got some interesting comments from people who would note that I had used the wrong version of a word, or I had improper grammar. I eventually hired an editor to help me not be so publicly embarrassed. I've actually honed my writing skills by writing so much, and I probably got over 1,000 blogs. My goal was 2 a week, and now I'm doing video. So at drbaileyskincare.com, you've got a huge amount of information you can search on my blogs. Then I started evergreening some of it on the advice pages. Now I'm doing YouTubes because that's a great way to teach people. And then every product page is filled with a ton of information about how to use it, why to use it, etc. So, and I've written everything. I mean, it all just sort of springs from me and my experience and my passion to get it out there to people.
Yeah, you have a lot on your site. You've got the advice pages, you've got product pages, you've got a blog, you've got YouTubes, you've got everything there. So that's fantastic. So let me ask you now, what do you use on your own skin now, and how does that, because I have no idea how old you are, how does that compare to what you used when you were in your 30s, 40s, and 50s?
So I'm turning 60 this year. This is a milestone year for me. It's a sort of epic milestone because I'm turning 60. I'm ticking the 5-year cancer-free mark, and I had really bad cancer. So if I lived 5 years, they pretty much said I beat it. And actually, the blog is almost 10 years. But so, anyways, what do I use? It's changed. It's evolved over the years because it has to. Our skin changes. So I teach people to look at skincare from the perspective of layering a complete routine with cleanse, correct, hydrate, and protect. And so it's often in that order. And so what I use for cleansing now is a gentle cleanser. In my 30s and 40s, I had more sort of rosacea and seborrhea as a problem with my facial complexion, so I used my calming zinc soap, and in fact I developed it for myself and my patients. It was the first appropriate facial cleansing product with parathione zinc in it. I don't need that anymore. Now I need a gentle cleanser for my postmenopausal dry skin. And then I use correcting products, and that's where a person needs to really sort of put the energy and the thought into their skincare. That's where you're going to get the highest return on investment. And
So
so
let me
I
stop
use.
you there. Let me stop you there and ask you,
Uh-huh.
what do you mean by correcting products?
So by correcting products, you want to address what your skin problems are. So, I have aging skin, so I want to use antioxidants to fight aging. I want to use collagen inducers to help fight postmenopausal and just sun damage, age-related skin thinning. And I want to brighten my skin by physically exfoliating and polishing it with chemical exfoliators like glycolic acid and retinoids. So, my antioxidant products, the best is green tea. Every skin complexion can tolerate that. And so my green tea antioxidant cream has the equivalent of 90 cups of brewed green tea 500 cups of brewed green tea per ounce of cream in the product. And it really, I've used it on my patients for years. It's evolved as formulation chemistry has evolved. And I've watched it calm redness. I've watched it diminish the number of precancers that I'm noting on my chart notes visit after visit. And so I always use that. I use vitamin C, which is another antioxidant. So antioxidants fight degradative changes due to free radicals that form as a consequence of sun damage, and also just the physiology of living. The physiology of living results in free radicals, which break our stuff down, precious stuff all over our body. But on the skin, we can stick antioxidants on the outside and kind of game the system by loading the skin because the skin's accessible. It's not like muscles. I mean, how do you get them into your muscles? You got to eat them. But to get them into your skin, you can just smear them on yourself, and if they're well crafted, they actually get in meaningful levels. And then collagen inducers are key. So a retinoid, like tretinoin, also called retin A, or now we have excellent retinol, which is non-prescription, so you don't need a prescription to have the benefits of retinol. And then, glycolic acid also induces collagen. And the only way to fight wrinkles meaningfully is to induce your body's production of collagen. You can't smear it on the outside of yourself because that stuff's too big to get in, as opposed to the antioxidants. So those are the correcting products. If I had acne, I would be using acne products. And then the next step is hydrate. So we always have to hydrate our skin or the barrier is compromised when we get dryness, irritation, and complexion problems because of a compromised skin barrier. And then protecting is your last step, and that's your sunscreen. So a broad spectrum sunscreen, preferably, my assessment of the scientific literature is zinc oxide is the best choice for that. So SPF 30 or higher, broad spectrum zinc oxide sunscreen. And all these products are in my antioxidant kit, which I made for my patients and made for myself, and have evolved it as skin formulation chemistry and technology has evolved over time. So, you have the basic building blocks of physical exfoliation, good, credible, professional-grade antioxidants, and a perfect sunscreen. And then you can add, according to whether your complexion can tolerate it, a retinol, a glycolic acid, and if you don't have the perfect facial moisturizer, you can add that as well. So that's all in the antioxidant kit at drbaileyskincare.com, and that's what I use on my skin, and it's what I've used for, since these products have become available. I mean, at first zinc oxide was diaper rash cream, and then it became, microsized, nanosized. Now it's back to microsized again, and it's cosmetically elegant now. It's no longer gross. And so that's what I use on my skin. And then I've also started incorporating more natural ingredients like, botanical oils. So for hydration, I use my facial cream and I mix it with my booster cream, which is all natural and made from organic ingredients. So I'm kind of blending science with those smart old wives who had a lot of natural knowledge, and that really suits my wellness and my ex-hippie self. So,
well, I'm wondering, for the layman out there, I mean, how do they know how to read labels? Because, now there is so much out there to choose from. I mean, it's overwhelming. So,
it is.
How does the layperson go about identifying what's good and what's not good?
Well, you cut out a little bit. Are you still there, Gayle?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, so it's tricky. And, you got to admit that most of the educational information that used to be out there came from advertising. And so, of course, they were going to tell you that their product was the latest and greatest, whatever, sunscreen, moisturizer, give you flawless complexion. You actually have to find credible educational sources and do a little bit of research so that when you go to the cosmetic counter, the department store cosmetic counter, the drugstore cosmetic counter, or the internet, you have some savvy and you can filter through sort of the misinformation and the fanciful prose that describe amazing events that only people in remote regions of the world who eat or use a certain plant can get, or smear a certain, gold or snail slime, or, you're right. It's dizzying and sometimes expensive. So how do you figure it out? Well, you have to do a little homework. You have to get to know your skin. What are your skin issues? Is it dry? Is it oily? Is it sensitive? What are your skin problems? And then you need to try to figure out what your skin could benefit from that sounds credible. So you have to look at credible sources, and then you go shopping. And if it sounds too good to do,
you talk about shopping. I know someone once said to me, if anything has water as the first ingredient, it isn't worth anything because that means it's all diluted. But I don't necessarily agree with that. So I'm wondering what your opinion on that is.
So again, it goes back to cleanse, correct, hydrate, protect. So in a cleanser, you're going to look for cleansing ingredients based on your skin type. Water is probably going to be something you add because it does come free out of the tap. So you're looking for foaming agents, or if you have super sensitive skin, you may want to start with an oil cleanser or a synthetic detergent, a pH-balanced Syndit, we call them. When it comes to correcting products, again, you're going to say, what are my skin problems? Okay, I have acne. I have a lot of blackheads, so I want to look for those ingredients that my credible source said will bust up blackheads and treat pimples. And so you want to learn what those ingredients are, and then you go looking for products with those ingredients. If you have wrinkles, you want to look for what are the collagen inducers. Well, first off, why do I have wrinkles? Oh, I have them because collagen's gone away and my skin is thinning. So how do I get more collagen in my skin? And you want to learn about that, and then you want to go find products made by credible producers with the ingredients you've learned are appropriate for your skin. And then with moisturizing, with hydrating, if you have acne-prone or oily skin, you're probably not going to want to use a moisturizer with a lot of oil. You may choose a non-oil containing humectant, like hyaluronic acid, for example, or glycerin. And then we all need sun protection. So you want to learn what the best ones are, because, a lot of those, in fact, the majority of those sunscreen labels, when I'm sitting there kind of reading them for entertainment value, most of them are not, by my criteria, good enough. So you want to learn what someone like me says is good enough.
Well, that's, another thing I was going to ask you. We've heard certainly anyone who is non-aware of sun damage now is living in the dark ages because, when I was growing up, let's get that tan. Let's look beautiful. And I tanned for many years because I lived in Florida. I sunned, I swam, I skied, I did all of that. But today, we all know about it, yet the beaches are full. And they're not under umbrellas. They're out there in the sun. So what do you do about something like that?
Well, first, I practically need a support group to even watch it because my heart just breaks, It just breaks because, who are those people and why are they out there? And they're putting on sunscreen thinking that they're doing the right thing, but at the end of the day, they can tell if they did the right thing or not. There's patches that have burnt because they either missed them or didn't put enough sunscreen on or their product wasn't good enough, and they're getting a tan, and the tan indicates that your body's trying to protect itself from something harmful. In the past, a tan meant you weren't going to get rickets, but we don't get rickets anymore because that's a vitamin D deficiency, and we get plenty of vitamin D in our milk and in our supplements. So it's irrelevant now to go out trying to get vitamin D from the sun unless you'd like to keep someone like me employed. So, you know, if you got a tan, you need to up your sun protection strategy. And again, on drbaileyskincare.com, I have a lot of information, including my very strong and well-educated opinions on how to sun protect, and it starts with sun protective clothing. So you cover as much of you as you can with UPF 50 fabric within, your comfort zone and your fashion needs, and then you seek shade as well. And any bit of skin that's uncovered, even the top of your part, which frankly should have a good UPF 50 hat on, but backs of the hands, ears, people remember their face, but the rest of them, they often forget, needs a broad spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen, preferably zinc oxide based, on every bit of exposed skin, and reapplied accordingly if they're using that for real sun protection. If they're not, mostly indoors, and or they've got a hat and they're in the shade and they've got sun protective clothing on, it makes the job easier if you're using other modalities beyond just smearing sunscreen on your skin. And remember, I sell sunscreen, so I want people to use sunscreen, but by the same token, I don't want them to rely on that because it's not smart.
And not only that, they don't know when to reapply it. They think it lasts all day, and it doesn't, so...
It doesn't.
So if I were to go to your website and choose one product on your website, what would that be?
It would be a sunscreen match to your skin type, because that will prevent needing all the other products on my website for sun damage and age-related skin changes, because the majority of the changes on our skin that we attribute to aging are actually sun-related issues. And, skin thinning, crepey skin, age spots, fragility of the skin, and of course, skin cancers and precancers, those are all sun-related issues. It's why your buttocks looks fantastic, or the undersurface of your arm looks fantastic, but the external surface, we call it the extensor surface of your arm, or the V of your neck, the décolleté, it's why those look, wrinkled, and I suppose we would call it age appropriate, but our buttocks and the undersurface of our arm look like they did when we were born. And that's how you bring home to yourself the reality that sun damage is what causes all of that stuff that we don't like about our skin as we age. And so I would recommend an SPF 30 or higher broad spectrum sunscreen, zinc oxide ideally, matched to your skin type. So at my age, I'm postmenopausal plus post-ovaries removed menopausal, so I got to do menopause twice thanks to the BRCA gene. And, my skin's dry. I don't think my oil glands are doing anything in there anymore. So I would pick a product that's hydrating. I also like it to have a little makeup base, so I would pick a tinted product to give my complexion, just a little boost in the way it appears. For oily skin types, they would choose a mattifying product that would absorb oil. Again, if they had hyperpigmentation or age spots, again, tinting is appropriate to help soften complexion flaws. So I've got that full range of those products that are zinc oxide based and that meet my muster, my criteria, my picky scrutiny, and are based on science at drbaileyskincare.com. And I even created a chart so you can compare, which products are mattifying, which products are hydrating, which products are tinted. If you want a completely natural formula, which are natural, which are in tiny containers that you can bring in your rollerboard on the airplane. Those are usually also expensive. It seems to be a correlation between the size of the inverse correlation between the size of the container and the price of the product. So, it would be a sunscreen. If you were, stranded on a desert island and you could only have one skincare product, it would be a sunscreen matched to your skin type.
Well, I'll tell you, we're coming to the end of this segment, and so I have so many more questions for you, but it's interesting because you are right on target with the fact that, I mean, I go to my dermatologist every 6 months, and he scans me up and down and either freezes it off or something. I had one on my scalp, which I was amazed at and didn't even know it was a cancer, and they had to go, I guess, almost down to the bone. And
they do.
So,
that's where we go.
Yeah, so I was in a beautiful sequin cap for a few weeks, and then they just took one off my lower calf, and well, not the calf, the front of the. But you know, it's what you do. I mean, it's preventative, and that's what's the important thing. Preventive medicine is probably the most important thing that anybody can practice. So I'm going to come back in a little bit with Dr. Cynthia Bailey. If you are interested in where you can find more about her, you can certainly go to her website, which is Dr. Cynthia Bailey Skincare, and she's going to tell you more. She's got a wonderful promotion for you called Ultimate Pigment and Sun Damage Repair Kit that we're going to talk about in our next segment. So stay tuned, and we will be with you shortly.